What if I told you that everything we know about human evolution could have unfolded on an entirely different planet? A world bathed in a rusty red hue, with towering dust storms, freezing temperatures, and a gravity so light it feels like you could leap into the sky. That's right, Mars. What if humans had evolved there instead of on Earth? How would our bodies, minds, and societies adapt to a planet so starkly different from the blue marble we call home? It's a wild thought, isn't it? But let's dive deeper into the world that could have been. Mars, about half the size of Earth, has a dramatically thinner atmosphere. It offers only a third of Earth's gravity, extreme cold that would make our polar regions seem balmy, and sunlight filtered through a dusty, salmon-colored sky. If this had been our evolutionary cradle, human life as we know it would look nothing like it does today. First, let's start with our bodies. On Mars, the lower gravity would mean much less strain on muscles and bones. Over generations, humans might have developed taller, thinner frames to conserve energy. Our bones would likely be weaker, less dense. Think of how astronauts lose bone mass after just a few months in microgravity. On Mars, this would be a permanent state. We'd also need larger lung capacities to draw in as much oxygen as possible from the planet's carbon dioxide-heavy atmosphere. Forget the compact, robust physiques of our ancestors on Earth. Martian humans might resemble something closer to a cross between a basketball player and a high-altitude Sherpa. Now let's talk skin. Mars is bombarded with solar radiation. Without a magnetic field or a thick atmosphere to shield us, our bodies would need to evolve a natural defense. Perhaps our skin would develop a reddish or coppery hue, reflecting the planet's rusty tones while acting as a natural UV shield. Or maybe we'd grow a denser layer of body hair to protect against the planet's biting cold. The idea of beauty on Mars? Completely different. Pale skin might be considered exotic, and freckles could become a universal trait, like celestial constellations on every face. But survival on Mars wouldn't just be about physical changes. It's about the mind, too. The endless expanses of barren red landscapes could have shaped our ancestors' meticulous planners, resource hoarders, and experts at long-term thinking. On Earth, humans adapted to forests, savannas, and ice caps, constantly on the move, chasing seasons and prey. On Mars, survival would hinge on making every drop of water and scrap of food last. Creativity and engineering would be paramount. If you think humans are innovative on Earth, imagine what centuries of living on a planet where resources are a luxury would inspire. As for society, forget sprawling cities that stretch for miles. Martian civilizations would likely have started underground to shield themselves from radiation. Picture vast networks of caverns, lit by bioluminescent plants engineered to thrive in low light. Instead of towering skyscrapers, we might have elaborate tunnel systems, interconnected like an ant colony. These societies would be shaped by a collective mindset, a necessity for survival in such an unforgiving environment. The individualistic streak so common on Earth might not have had the same evolutionary benefits on Mars. Religion, too, might take on a different form. Where Earth's earliest beliefs often revolved around the sun, water, and fertile lands, Martian spirituality could be centered on survival and resilience. Perhaps their gods wouldn't be celestial, but subterranean, reflecting the importance of life beneath the surface. Their myths and legends might tell of great ancestors who carved out the first shelters in the rock or found hidden reservoirs of water. Speaking of water, on Earth, it's a rite. On Mars, it's a miracle. Martian humans might treat it with reverence, rationing every drop. Even something as simple as taking a shower would be unthinkable. Instead, they'd evolve waterless cleaning methods or even skin adaptations that self-clean, shedding dirt and microbes like a snake sheds its skin. It sounds alien, but hey, we're talking about humans on Mars here. Now let's get to the real kicker: communication. On Mars, the vast distances and lack of atmosphere would challenge sound-based languages. Would we have evolved to communicate differently? Perhaps through gestures, vibrations, or even bioluminescent signals. Imagine a world where conversations light up the dark, where emotions glow in hues of blue, green, or red. It's almost poetic, isn't it? But what about conflict? Earth's history is filled with wars over land, resources, and power. On Mars, survival would depend on collaboration. There might still be disputes. Humans are humans after all, but they'd likely look different. territorial battles might center on water sources or access to sunlight. With resources so scarce, Martian humans might have developed strict codes of ethics to avoid wasteful conflict. Or maybe they'd find ways to resolve disputes that Earth could only dream of. Imagine debates settled by feats of endurance or ingenuity. And then there's the big question, would we ever leave Mars? Earth humans have always been explorers, driven to cross oceans, scale mountains, and reach for the stars. Would Martian humans share this same wanderlust? Would they look to the night sky, see the distant blue speck of Earth, and wonder, what if we lived there? Now let's flip this thought experiment around. If Martian humans had evolved in such a harsh environment, how would they see us? Would Earth, with its abundance of water, lush greenery, and thick atmosphere, seem like a paradise or a chaotic, overwhelming mess? Maybe they'd marvel at our oceans and forests, or maybe they'd think we were reckless for wasting resources so freely. To them, Earth might feel like an impossible dream, a place too soft, too unstable, too unpredictable. It's fascinating, isn't it? Thinking about how a change in one cosmic roll of the dice could have shaped an entirely different kind of human. It's a reminder of just how lucky or unlucky we are to have evolved here, on this particular rock, spinning around this particular sun. And it makes you wonder, are we shaped by the planet we live on? Or would humanity's ingenuity and resilience shine no matter where we started? Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. The next time you look up at the night sky and see that faint red dot glimmering in the distance, remember that it could have been home. And who knows, someday, it still might be. If you've enjoyed exploring this wild what-if with me, hit that subscribe button and join our journey through more mind-bending possibilities. There's a whole universe of questions out there. Let's answer them together.